Recently, Pitchfork made an announcement that they're testing comments and reader scores on their album reviews. Reading from their announcement, since Pitchfork started publishing album reviews nearly 30 years ago, two things have remained constant: no comment section and no second opinion. That is about to change. Coming in 2026, as Pitchfork celebrates its 30th anniversary, we're finally planning to add comment sections to all of our album reviews. This is quite a drastic change, as Pitchfork is the most popular critic-based music publication in the world. Pitchfork gained popularity way back in the 90s for their grand reviews. Some of their most popular and well-respected reviews have the most colorful language out of any music journalism out there. I think if this change goes through, it would be one of the worst decisions they have made for their music writers and for their brand identity as a whole. Displaying what the user thinks on your critic's album review undermines what they have to say, in my opinion. It turns your highly opinionated website into an aggregate, and also shows that Pitchfork might be trying to make its own little social media. Now, you may think being scared of a mob mentality and backlash for a review is pretty hypocritical, especially since their website is literally called Pitchfork, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But it's more the fact that this decision kind of signifies that though we think of ourselves as a credible and authoritative music review source, we will let our review be diluted with what the audience says. And we will let our music writers stick their neck out, get criticized, and maybe get harassed on our own website. Similar to how Rate Your Music or Album of the Year works. To be fair to Pitchfork, they do say in their announcement that they are currently beta testing with 500 readers to make sure that we build the best comment section and reader scoring system possible. But are there any stands involved in that? Are any of those 500 readers psychotic basement dwellers that, say crazy shit on Twitter? Halsey, I know Halsey apologized for this, but she did ask for the basement of Pitchfork to collapse. So if a established singer can say that in the heat of the moment, only God knows what a random person could say to a searing review of their favorite musician. I also think this is just as important now, as music writers don't really have the power to critically affect a musician's career in a negative way like they used to. There's a great article on Slate about back in the day when music critics could kill musicians' careers. That's not something you really see nowadays. As what is pointed out in the article, which I also believe, so many people's opinions are shown online. You can go on Twitter, you can go on Reddit, you go anywhere. You can see what people are thinking, and you can find like-minded people. Who cares what this one music writer says? It seems like now more than ever, it's hard to find differing opinions about music that is not on social media. I see these reviews as somewhere where you can see thoughtful writing about albums you care about or about albums you might want to check out yourself, who most of the time they have their own Substacks, they may have made their own zines, they've been around, they kind of know what they're talking about. That's why they're a critic. And to find good writing about it, 1,500, 2,000 words about an album, clearly showing how they feel, why they feel this way, that's not really something you can get on social media nowadays. And to take all of that and then slap an aggregated score of what other people think about it next to it is detrimental. There is an argument for, well, Pitchfork used to be a shit-posting website. They gave an album review of just a monkey pissing in its own mouth in the early 2000s. That is true, but in recent years, they have turned a new leaf and are now the biggest music publication that allows music writers to say critical things that they actually feel like. Probably the only other place that's bigger is the Needle Drop, and for argument's sake, that is just one guy. I think it's important to understand that rating music on a 0 to 10 scale is already a controversial way of describing how you feel, but that is one of the cornerstones of how Pitchfork became so popular. They say on their website, every day we measure other people's work using our extremely specific, extremely not scientific 0 to 10 scale. Earlier this year, Alphonse Pierre reviewed the newest Clips album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, and it was given a 6.5. The header for it saying, after 16 years, Pusha T and Malice returned with a blockbuster comeback album produced entirely by Pharrell. It's good, it's different, it's complicated. So not a bad review, not a great review. It's like right down the middle. It's mid. And then him posting this on Twitter with the link to it, comment section galore. You're getting some people backing him, but then you have comments coming after his credentials, coming after how he looks and how he perceives rap music, saying how he sucks at his job. He should not write for Pitchfork. He shouldn't have a job. Someone throwing out a slur at him. You know, not great stuff. Keep in mind, this is a Clips album review. This isn't Taylor Swift's. This isn't Kanye West. This is a rap group that its heyday was 20 years ago, and this is a comeback album, and he gave it a mid review, and people were telling him to quit his job. Would this kind of interaction happen in the Pitchfork comment section? Maybe. It depends how they want to moderate it. Now, to be fair, can these critics withstand differing opinions and people harassing them online for saying what they say? Of course they can. This is their livelihood. They understand that this is going to happen, and this is something that they deal with, giving their opinion online for a living. I believe it's kind of turning your back on the writers that post on your website to let the audience also give what they think, and then let them, you know, say whatever they want to say in the comments in reaction to their thoughtfully written review. Could I be overreacting to letting people comment on the review? Possibly. I don't think I am, because there's too many places on the internet where people can leave comments. We see people's opinions all the time, especially on like Twitter. Think about how many comments you see from people. It's like, why am I seeing your opinion right now? I don't need this in my headspace. There is no way that people who want to comment on it are not just gonna be talking about the rating. It's all gonna be about the rating, because no one actually reads any fucking articles anymore. Everyone just reads the headline. They're just gonna read the rating and then say, why the fuck did you give my favorite artist a 2? Also, bear in mind, the rating is done by a group of people, while the review is done by one person and is probably proofreaded, I assume. In my opinion, it's engagement bait. And I think this comes back to when Condé Nast bought Pitchfork back in 2015, which led to them merging it with GQ and then laying off some staff writers. I don't think this is a stretch of imagination that all of these kind of things work together. You know, they're looking at ways that, how can we get reviews to get more clicks on it? Oh, a comment section. Oh, you can interact with it now. It's not just a music writer having their opinion sponsored or backed by Pitchfork to let them say what they have to say, even if it goes against the grain. But we're going to let the audience say what they want to say right back at you. That's not how you treat your staff writers. It's not like reviews like the highest art of all time, but, you know, let them have a safe space to say what they have to say. And especially for Pitchfork, you're known for rustling feathers. Why not, I don't want to say protect, because maybe that's too strong of a word, but, you know, protect your writers. Let them say what they have to say, and not let, when they review, say, a Kanye album, after he's garnered a certain audience that likes him now for a thing that is not great, to have them, you know, when they give it a 3.0 because it's a fuck-ass album, to then see the writers address in the comments and then get a review bombed, so they give it a 10. I can already imagine the worst album of all time, a meme album, comes out, Pitchfork gives it a 2 rightfully, and then people think it would be so funny to give it a 10 on the user rating. It doesn't take much to get, you know, sort of a mob behind you if you think something's funny. That's how most shit works on the internet now. I don't think a change like this will drastically affect Pitchfork's social credibility in the music landscape in 2025. Gate-kept media like this has lost its power that it had, as the landscape of opinion has obviously switched over to more of a town square sort of forum and social media aspect of it. Hence, here's me saying what I have to say on a YouTube channel that I made with no backing from a music publication. I can just say whatever I want. You can just say whatever you want. I think Pitchfork should preserve a place where qualified music writers can say what they want to say without their writing being diluted by a social aggregate score and having a host where people can comment whatever they want. Leave that to the swamp of social media that we currently have.